Yo, what's going on, guys? Good afternoon. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you so very much. Welcome to another episode of Book of Killing here on Twitch. No, we used to be on Twitch. We're now on YouTube. Ha ha ha. Guys, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you so very much. I'm gonna be getting into this share momentarily. I am pretty excited to share this. Actually, this is the third part of Mark and I having our discussion about the crust, Admiral Byrd, all that fun stuff. So bear with me. I am going to find it. For some strange reason, it disappeared. Byrd. Go figure. Seriously.
Me?
Yeah, I can, my guy. Hey, how are you? Are
I'm
you?
good. How are you?
I'm good. You're recording on your end?
I am not, but I can.
Wait, yeah. No, but you want to, right? Don't you have authorization? That's all I'm checking for to
Oh
make sure
yeah,
you're
hang on.
you're recording.
No, I don't. I don't have authorization.
What the? I thought I had this all set up, man. I'm still learning.
That's all right.
Uh,
You're
what's
recording on
this?
your side, so
Yeah. Are you gonna publish it on your?
I'm not publishing this one,
Okay, cool.
but you can publish whatever you want.
All right,
I find
cool.
that if you do too many in a row, again, I'll talk to you as many times as you want, but on my channel,
Okay.
people start,
Yeah.
that whole variety is a spice of life thing.
Yeah. No, no stress. I appreciate it because here's the thing. I'm kind of ready to throw some stuff at you, and
Okay,
I kind of want to because I feel that we've earned a level of trust, right?
sure,
Organic trust. Okay.
sure.
Um.
And by the way, I'm not using my Edison lights just to see if I still stay in this dimension.
You look great.
All right.
Coloring, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, I've got a widescreen monitor, so or ultra widescreen, so I'm just using the light
What
from.
size are you running?
You mean the resolution? Oh, it's just at 34, but it's running 21 by 9 perspective,
Okay.
which is which is fine.
Gotcha.
And the reason why is because we're this is probably not the way to start this, but you can chop off whatever you want.
It's
Which
okay.
is movies, as you know, they're either shot in 16 by 9 or they're
Right.
shot in 70 millimeter,
Right.
which is 21 by 9. Which is why sometimes in theaters you'll see the bars come down and the
A
screen
little bit.
kind of
Yep.
get wide. But a lot of movies don't shoot in that because it's just too expensive. And
Right.
it's like, well, it's a romantic comedy. Do we really need 70 millimeter? Probably not. But at some point they decide this is about as far as you can go with monitors, which is why they're a little curved on the edges. Because if you don't curve them, you start losing peripheral vision.
Start to one of these.
Meaning things can happen over here, which you can't even get to with your eyes. And
Yeah.
so it's like, this is it. This is about as good as it gets. Anyway,
Okay, so Admiral Byrd, Operation High Jump.
yeah,
I took in your piece where you talked about the fact that he was well equipped and had the funding and was able to make the trip. Now, the from you what you know of what happened on that trip to the Arctic, if you can.
the rumor. You got a little bit of the backstory in that Antarctica was still a very hostile place environmentally for, ever.
Yeah.
It's just a horrible, awful place.
Right.
And people were doing exploring. Admiral Byrd went down there in 1927. And
47. Oh, wait,
no,
was
27. He was.
okay, so
yeah. No, we were down there for decades before
Okay.
World War II.
okay.
And then, because he went to in 1926, he went to the North Pole supposedly, and
Okay.
and that whole diary journey to the center of the Earth thing.
Well,
And
okay.
you would have thought if that was true, regardless if it was true or not, you'd think you'd stay there. If you found something really, really cool at the North Pole, you just keep going to the North Pole. It's like, no. You're going to be spending basically the rest of your life in Antarctica.
Okay. Here's where this is where I'm gonna take over because I think I need to just ask questions at this point.
Sure. Yeah.
Operation High Jump, what took place in 47
Okay.
was he went
So
to he went to the Arctic or the Antarctic.
Yeah, so in Antarctica in the 20s, he went to the Arctic, and he was flying around, and the United States Navy was basically looking for something
Okay.
ever since the 1920s.
Okay.
And then they took a break during World War II
Right.
because it was World War II. Everyone left the ice except for exactly one country,
Okay.
Nazi Germany.
Okay.
Nazi Germany was there during World War II. It's like, why would Nazi Germany?
Right.
The whole Indiana Jones thing with the Nazis wasn't wrong. They were one of those countries that believed, and honestly, it's all's fair in love and war, and that is if there was anything they could find in the world that could help them win the war, whether it be Frodo's ring or one of the wands from Harry Potter or whatever it is, they're going to go after it.
Right.
Which is why the whole Ark of the Covenant story in the first Indiana Jones is like, look,
Right.
God, can it help us win the war? Sure, go after it. Send troops. So something was down there in Antarctica. And this was not fiction. They were down there in Antarctica during World War II. Why, we don't know. So after the surrender of the Japanese, after the Tokyo surrender ceremony, they immediately put Byrd into a carrier group and sent him to Antarctica, called Operation High Jump.
Okay. This was 47, right?
46 or 47.
Because World War II, it's okay. I mean, from my
World War II
understanding,
ends in 1945 after Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Okay.
And so, but they sent down a full-blown carrier group. I mean, support ships, 5,000 troops, the whole shooting match.
Okay.
And the story goes, there's the official story, which is it was just done for research purposes. It's like, okay, you want to send that much military equipment to Antarctica after World War II? You think a lot of these guys want to go home? That's fine. The unofficial story is that they ran into an advanced civilization that did not want them going any further down in Antarctica. That was the most popular rumor, that our military was pushed back, hard by whoever was down there. The story that I like, however, is the story that I'm most fond of is that they were down there to root out the last of the Nazi bases, and the Germans asked this other civilization for asylum. And they said, hey, can we, but asylum, has strings attached.
Right.
And this other civilization treated it as such. Something to the effect of, fine, we will grant you asylum, but you can't come back. Meaning it's like a high school dance, right?
Yeah.
Once you leave the gym,
Yeah,
You know,
that's
you
it.
can't go.
You're done.
You can't. Yeah,
Admission
you
is
can't.
done. You can't come back.
Yeah, you can't come back because obviously, you don't want the Nazi Germany to show up years later. Hence the movie Iron Sky, which did not do well in the States for very obvious reasons.
Okay. Question.
So yeah,
Have you ever taken in the piece of his recount of his audio journal?
birds
Yeah,
maybe. Why?
there because what I did was last week I did a piece on my show where I started off with your piece on Admiral Byrd,
Yeah,
and then I led into a piece that my buddy shared on YouTube, which is his flight log, his audio recount of the flight log.
right,
Now, what's interesting the flight log is he talks about going beneath the crust
right.
and meeting with a high master from the Ariani inner Earth
Oh yeah, yeah,
race,
yeah. Yep.
right?
Oh, this would have been the 1926 expedition at the North Pole.
Oh, so this would have been the 26th expedition.
Yep. He was the
Okay,
first
now,
one to go there. Yeah.
the further to that, he identifies flying saucers with swastikas on them, right?
Might have been a mix scene, but possibly. Sure.
Okay,
Why not?
but hold on. But the background on the swastika is the swastika perversion to the Haken Cruise. The Haken Cruise was the with the Nazis,
Right.
but the swastika in Eastern culture, even now, is actually like part of, I believe it's Hinduism, I think.
Yeah, it's Hinduism. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So I mean, the whole idea of there being flying saucers with swastikas on them in the 20s with relation to these Ariani race, like we have this whole idea of there being an additional life form. And I'm totally okay with that because we're in God's house, right? I mean, in God's house, there are many rooms, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that I want to park, though, is the idea that he went to a place that was north. My question is, and that this hole that he went to,
Mm-hmm.
right, where there was a transition from outer Earth to inner Earth, this
Right.
hole,
Right.
right,
Right.
north. Is this the penetration point? Because in the very same, I don't know if you saw the drawing of the map that he gave, where he showed his entry point, and then he identified the sun, the inner Earth sun.
Right.
Right. This is where I start to wonder about the sun, this inner Earth sun, above it becoming Polaris, Polaris being a refractor ping-pongy within our prism that creates the sun and the moon, which is why I kind of, yeah.
Why you've got the Aurora Borealis behind you? Nice touch. Yeah, and I like it. I like it. I've heard that theory, which is and it makes a lot more sense if the sun is very very small. If
51 kilometers in diameter, both of them.
Yeah, if that's the case, then sure, why the heck not?
Okay, and that's Mark. This is what I'm following, and this is so. My question to you is: have you taken in vibes of the cosmos or vibes of Cosmos's work here on YouTube, or when I say here on YouTube? Sorry.
Are you the second person to mention that to me today?
This is why we're talking about it. Okay, so Admiral Byrd. Here's the thing, and again, I'm building a story, right? And
Right.
I just want to identify that there's a hole in the north. Yeah, there's a hole in the north, right?
Yes.
Which there is,
Yes.
right? There's
Right.
a transitionary point from outer Earth to inner Earth, right?
It doesn't have to be very big, but yes,
Right.
there is a hole. Yeah.
It's God's design. It can be
Right.
pinpointed hole. It just works,
Right.
right? Now, I believe Black Hole Sun, Soundgarden, right?
Yeah.
Of course, Cornell knew about the children. Never mind. Transition point, right? Hits the crust. Polaris is up top, right?
Sure.
And I believe through God's design, the firmament, right, is a refractory type of prism, if you will, that creates like the sun and the moon are actually reflections.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah, you bet. I wouldn't doubt that at all. There's been a number of people that have suggested that, mostly because of the whole magnifying glass effect, which is if you take a magnifying glass to sunlight.
Yeah. That's it.
and you pinpoint it on something, that pinpoint is extremely bright.
Right.
Very, very bright. It's tough to look at, and it's,
Right.
why wouldn't it be? I mean, you're magnifying sunlight.
Right.
And it's so, in fact, it's so bright you can actually burn whatever it is that's there. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, um, this leads me back to and where I started also leading into the idea of environmental gases and the idea that the sun is an igniter, right?
Mm.
So the sun just ignites the gases in the atmosphere, makes them active,
Yep.
right? And so, for instance, I go to the beach, I stand in front of the sun, the gases in front of me become active due to the igniter being the sun,
Yep.
right? And I get tan, just like you open up an oven, you see the waves coming out, same idea,
Sure.
kind of roughly.
But Bob from Glowbusters, I
Excuse
know,
me.
was big on that for a while. He was into the whole gases thing.
Okay.
And it makes sense. I like it because the also here, which is different from other places, is that there are things that are lit up even though the sun's not directly on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Meaning, you should have a perfect blackness shadow.
Right.
And not to transition over into simulations, but
That's
when
fair.
we do simulations, uh, people forget that in our earlier simulations, the sky was just light or dark. There was
Right.
no sun or moon
Right.
at all. It was just this, we can make the sky whatever light or dark. And so why wouldn't this place have the same sort of properties?
Right.
No.
Okay. So the next idea, and again, I feel like this is a special episode for me because obviously, like, you're not recording it, so it's kind of like
Oh yeah, no, it's
my
fine.
little secret, because to bounce these ideas off of you really are, because I've been theory crafting this for the last like 3-4 weeks.
Okay.
No, not even theory crafting. That would be the wrong thing, because I'm just taking the idea and I'm just applying it to better understand it, if that makes sense. Yeah, that
Fine.
makes sense. Um, have you seen these telescopic images where the planets appear to be this shimmery type
Oh yeah.
of? Okay.
Yep.
The idea of 7 firmaments, again, in Genesis, the reference point being God created the heavens with an S,
Right.
right? 7 heavens, each of those heavens containing one of those shimmery types of pinholes, right?
Sure.
Refracted image, what appears to be, we could even further expound, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I believe those firmaments to be almost like Star Trek, right? The reflector, the choo choo choo, and the beams go,
Yeah.
or activate the shields. Yeah, the shields come up,
Yeah.
right? And each of those firmaments contain one refractory planet, quote unquote. Last
Sure.
one being Saturn. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna, again, I like it. Why wouldn't I?
That's
Sure.
okay. All right. Again, I'm not, there's never a point where I'm obviously holding a gun to your head or anything like
No,
that.
no,
I'm
no.
saying, Mark,
No, no.
edify me, I'm taking
How,
it to the
how
bank.
could
Like,
how
no,
could
right?
how could I shoot that down? When it comes to the sky, there is so much stuff we don't know.
Right.
Most of the stuff we don't know. Ground stuff we're pretty good at.
Right.
Up in the sky though, it's just, everything's up for grabs. So yeah, some good out of the box thinking.
Well, it's not out of the box. There's no I can't. There's no way I can do that. It's just more of it's, again, the vibes of the cosmos, understanding what they kind of put in front, and I'm just kind of taking it and like understanding what's in front. Now,
Right.
the whole relative reference point I took in your piece, selling fireworks,
Ah, yeah, yeah.
and the Fed showed up.
Oh yeah,
Eat the pie, damn it!
my collegiate years were very different from most people. there's what university life should be, and then there's what I did because I was bored. And yeah, I'm lucky, honestly. And I've told people, I go, it's good that I did it when I did, because 10 years later, after the whole 9/11 thing, oh yeah, that would have been a whole different story. They back then though, in the early 90s, they treated everything fairly light. It was yeah, what that story is absolutely true. Absolutely true.
I had a good laugh about that.
Oh, thanks.
Eat the pie, damn it. Where is it gonna go with that? Oh my goodness. So the idea of us being hit by a flying rock.
Right.
The I
You
was
mean
explaining
currently? You mean all the warnings that we get every month?
well, I was explaining the what comets, asteroids, they're like just fireworks in the sky,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I believe, like, you said, again, I'm just taking what I've kind of collected on vibes and just bouncing them around.
Yeah.
But like you set rubbing alcohol as an example out on the sidewalk, it disappears, right? It
Right.
evaporates, it goes into the atmosphere, it gets collected, you fart, methane goes
Yeah. Yeah. All these things. Yeah. They
they
rise
get
supposedly.
collected
Yeah.
and eventually ignited, right? And is it just that we're looking at this ignited firework going across the sky?
It's some of it, sure. Some of it's probably artificial. Some of it's probably just a light show.
Right.
No different than laser Floyd, on a weekend at a planetarium. What always got me, what sunk into me is once I was doing this for a number of years,
Right.
that there's 6 billion smartphones in the world. More people have smartphones than have running water.
Right.
And yet
That's
everything is filmed. Everything is caught on camera. Everything that can be caught is caught on camera. Not everything, obviously, but instances of just about every example you can think of. And yet we don't have a single image of a meteor hitting with impact of any size anywhere in any country. Doesn't matter if it's land or water. Remember, 3/4 of the world is supposedly water. You'd think it's some fishing boat would catch some of this in water, or at least catch it after the fact, and say, "Oh, hey, look, a meteor just missed. Yeah, a big splash. We just missed it." Nothing,
no.
absolutely nothing. And that fact, and let's take that one step further. We have those regular. I don't want to screw up the pronunciation. Is it Perseus, or one of the meteor showers that like comes every year?
Versus, I believe so.
I think so. And yet no satellites are ever retasked to get out of the way of this thing, even though they're absolutely going through satellite orbit, at that altitude.
Right.
And plus, once they release, the thing that got me, again, because the average person just does not understand things that should happen, laws of averages, percentages, the odds. I'm a
Yeah.
huge stats nut guy, and there's like,
Me
I could have
too.
worked in
The
I could
numbers
have
can't lie.
the numbers they don't tell the whole story, but they don't lie.
Yeah.
And in fact, I could have worked in the insurance agency industry at some point because the numbers just fascinate me.
Yeah.
And that is, if you ever saw the movie Gravity
Yeah.
with Sandra Bullock, right? The whole premise of that movie, the premise, you might as well just watch the first 10 minutes and throw away the rest of the movie, which is she and George Clooney are on the space, shuttle or station or wherever it was, and a satellite at some point went off course, crashed into another satellite, which crashed and it turned into a domino effect. And there's just this wall of jagged metal that is coming their way, right? And
Yeah.
rips everything apart, and then it's
Yeah.
a big story of survival. And then it was like, it all of a sudden dawns on you. It's like, wait, hasn't this happened already by
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Odds, you can't tell me that every satellite has, if they're real, has been kept absolutely on track, no matter what country it is, no matter what size, no matter what age, and at no point, I mean, all the satellites just go and then just go straight down,
Yeah.
right? No satellite careens into another one.
Perfect ballet.
Because once that starts, this is what I'm trying to get to anyone's listening. Once that starts, that's it. It's game over. Right? That all the satellites, law of averages, meaning, they will cover the entire sky eventually, and all satellites will become disabled.
Right.
And we never ever see that. We never ever. Find me a story where it's like, oh, the NBC satellite 4 just got taken out by a rock or another satellite or something like that. It's never happened. That meteor shower that comes every year, you'd think television stations be scrambling. But no, the memo, it's like, don't worry about it. It's not a thing. 'Cause what is it? And why is it not a thing? Why is it not a thing? Anyway.
No, that makes perfect sense. As you say, law of averages, there's such a fine science to launching a rocket, right?
Oh, yeah.
And all these calculations, everything that take place.
And science kids, they don't even want to address it. It's like, well, it just doesn't happen. It's like, do you know how improbable that is? That it's never, ever happened Find me a satellite that's gotten taken out. You go forget about the rocks,
Right.
And also don't forget that the whole micrometeor thing that goes into the ISS, which drove me nuts. Which is you could have a micrometeor the size of a nickel punch through the ISS, and that's it because all the doors are completely open all the way through it. It should be like a submarine, where they close hatches and spin wheels and everything should be sealed. It's like, nope, they're just flying around their khakis and their socks and their short sleeve shirts.
Everything's hunky-dory.
Micrometeor goes through, they're all dead instantly. And it's like, and people like, and it's like, because it should have happened already, but it hasn't. And not only that, but no one's scared ever. Sorry, one more thing. Like, one more thing.
Please, embellish.
While we're going on fear. The
False
astronauts
evidence appearing real.
The astronauts never are afraid of anything ever. And yeah, I understand the whole pilots thing. Pilots, they're trained like, oh well, we're cruising at 30,000 feet. But when things go bad, you can tell the amped up in their voice.
Yeah.
When you're on the moon, right? It's very
it's
few.
So far away.
When you're on the moon, the only thing that would be on I don't care if they're military officers or not. The only thing that's on their mind is not dying.
Not dying.
Meaning moving real slow. And the part that bugged me so much in my first couple of years of doing this was, you know what you never heard about ever in their transmissions? And you can scour through transmissions. It's like how much air you have left. Scuba divers are absolutely notorious for this, which is scuba divers check their tanks constantly. It's like, I got 17 minutes, I got 12 minutes, I got 9 minutes. And when you get to a certain point, they're out of there. They're like, they have to leave. At no point do you ever hear an astronaut say, oh, we got 15 minutes there left. Better start heading back.
20,000 gallons left. We should be good for another week there, boys.
Yeah, no one ever checks it was like they had unlimited air at all times, and no one questioned it. And not only that, but it was never referenced. It's like, shouldn't there be a limited amount of air in the capsule? Not to mention your backpacks, and how do you refresh those things? Because we're talking about scuba tanks.
Right, quick. I'm all about, like, you can critique the point, flat Earth versus round. Like, I critique it all you want. Personal attacks, you need to do a little bit better than that. Your ass goes in the corner for that shit.
On top of it, you have nitrogen and oxygen. Nobody ever.
It's so
just
again. I took in that other piece that you just uploaded with respects to the whole fake space station or the fake.
Isn't that a great
mission? Oh, thing? For sure. They had them all fooled up. They went to the local junkyard and purchased what they needed to.
Yeah, so to do a quick summary of that for anyone, which is, it's not just that they convinced people that there was a fake space program that existed. They convinced people that they were in that space program.
Yeah.
They convinced 9 people, and they only had to choose 3 to get in the simulator because, it was like it was a contest, right?
Yep.
But they could have put all 9 of them in there.
Yep.
And they would have all believed it, hook, line. They faked Mission Impossible style that these people were in space.
It's awesome.
And they bought it, and they did it for less than $5 million.
Yep.
Well, £5 million, so $7 million. But that's not a lot of money. And so when I hear that NASA gets $55 million a day, and their production value, I mean, these guys did it better than they did, way better than they did. And there were a couple problems here and there but they covered as well as they could. The key was, of course, to have a couple actors mixed in,
right, and help prod it.
Help. So if anyone had any doubts, it's like, no, man, we're on track. Your doubts are unfounded. But it was an amazing show, and it never, they never made an American version of it for obvious reasons. And they say, oh, it's low ratings, that's why, we couldn't do it anymore. No, I think it hit too close to home is what happened. You convince these people, if you can convince people that they're actually in space, imagine what you could do on television. Just show people.
You did exactly what I wanted. Well, not what I wanted.
What?
So, 47. So wait, 20. When did Admiral Byrd go the first time?
His North Pole was 26.
Oh god. 26. But when he actually apparently met with the Ariani race in Inner Earth.
Well, it's just tough to say. It was in the 20s, though, definitely.
Okay, so 20s. Okay, and then we have World War II in 45 that ended in 45, and then we have Operation High Jump, which took place in 47,
Yep.
and apparently they got chased out of there
Yeah.
by the
And advanced.
spaceships
Yeah.
with swastikas on them, and half of his crew made it back, and et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Okay,
There was a
and
lot of
he
classified there. Yeah.
a lot of classified, and then he passes away in 59, and then that's the year that the race to space started, isn't it?
Close enough. Hang on. He died actually. I think. Hang on. Admiral. When did Admiral Byrd die? He died in 57. So close enough.
57. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, he died right after that the Operation Deep Freeze, which was 55 to 56.
So
That was
wait
his
a
last
minute,
mission.
Operation Defreeze.
Yeah, yeah, that
Dark.
was what?
You've planted a seed. See if you can let me know a little bit more off this top. I'll research this more. Operation
Oh,
Deep
okay.
Freeze
So
stuff.
Operation Deep Freeze was the mission that happened right after his last big television appearance was the Longines chronoscope, the thing I put in the clues where he's on the 60 minutes of the day and they're talking to him about Antarctica and he's saying,
Mm,
all this stuff.
mm.
And that was in 54. And during that he had his advanced scout teams figuring out what the next mission was going to be. They were already down in Antarctica and they were going to wait for him. He was the big
Okay.
front man of it. So he goes down in the very next year in 55 and it was his last mission called Operation Deep Freeze.
Okay.
And we don't know much about it other
Okay.
than it was just a routine, just keeps flying around. Remember, it was mostly flights flying around Antarctica. Look, remember, they were looking for the better part of 30 years for
Right.
something out there.
Right.
And whatever they found, that's when everything changed. Operation Deep Freeze changed their path, meaning
Wow.
right after that, that's when all of a sudden they started making moves, meaning when they got back from, he died in 57, NASA was founded in 58, the
Right.
Antarctic Treaty was put in place in 59, the Van
59.
Allen radiation belts were announced in 59, and everything started, that's when it's like, okay, we have to put things in place now to make sure that further exploration, we have a complete handle. We're in front of it, no matter what it is.
Okay. So just hang on to that for a quick second.
Yeah.
Have you ever taken that piece, or maybe you just know it offhand, but there is the reference point of the firmament being defined at a certain year in the, I believe, the Encyclopedia Britannica,
I
or
believe
something like
that was in the 50s as well, but I've heard
Right.
stuff going back earlier than that. And
No. But don't know. What I'm saying is the latest piece, I believe, was the 50s that we had written documentation of some
yeah.
edification. We have 10 minutes left.
Okay.
But we do have the edification of the firmament as late as the 50s. This is what I'm saying, right?
Okay.
So the point that I'm making or drawing to is that I'm going to call it Operation Mandela Effect, Planet Earth, right, started in 1957 with the death of Admiral Byrd.
Sure.
Because I feel like that was the last guy that really knew stuff about stuff.
And yeah, and did he die peacefully from a heart attack in his home? I don't know. He was too liberal in his choice of verbiage when he was on camera.
Yeah.
He liked being on camera. He wasn't a big egomaniac, but he was the guy, right?
Yeah.
He was the greatest living explorer. So
He
I think
seemed
I
a
think he said
little
too much.
restricted though in his interview.
Well, he tried. Thing was, he backpedaled. So when he, like, for example, when he said, "We're pretty sure," again, it's on camera, it's live television. When he goes,
Right.
"Well, I'm pretty sure there's uranium down there. We don't want to, get in trouble." It's like he goes, and then he's like, "Yeah, I probably shouldn't have been talking about that." It's like, oh boy, if you're watching, if you're the agency and you're watching this, you're like, sooner or later he's going to say something he really, really shouldn't be talking about, and so. Who knows? I mean,
Right.
you gotta remember. I'll give you a quick little story,
Yeah.
real fast, which is
Yeah. Okay.
like there was the follow up story to Admiral Byrd going to the North Pole was Charles Lindbergh. because he was also a big explorer, big flyer. And Charles Lindbergh supposedly, if you should look this up if you get a chance,
Okay.
also wanted to do a follow up. And it's like, yeah, I've heard I heard the rumors what happened at the North Pole. I'm going. So he goes with his wife, and they take a whole bunch of snapshots. They brought cameras, and they're taking all sorts of pictures up there. And they get back, and this is a guy that had ties to the government, and he's like, yeah, this is the greatest thing ever. I think we should move forward with this. And it's like, no, you're not going to show anyone those pictures. You're not going to talk about this. You're not going to do anything along those lines. And he's like, or what? He's like, I'm Charles Lindbergh. I'm a national treasure. What are you going to do? And shortly after that, out of nowhere, for no apparent reason, was the Lindbergh baby story. And if you look at the follow-up story, I think the pieces match a little bit, which was after that, he was so bent out of shape that he renounced America entirely and moved to Europe and never looked back. So, yeah.
Holy smoke. Well, we know they take control when they need to take control.
Yeah, and so even though Byrd was a very high, Admiral in Navy, doesn't matter. The secret, the greater good is the greater good.
Right.
And so in his case, yeah, you're right. Things changed after he died. Amazingly, right after he died, all those things happened. Within 2 years, everything was locked down. 58, NASA was founded, and then 59, the Anti-Merger Treaty, and the Van Allen radiation belts, and that was the beginning of the big lockdown.
So 1960 to 2022, right? So basically 62 years of brainwashing is what has led us to people fighting as to whether or not we're on a blue marble versus a plateau.
Yeah, and that's 3 generations, almost.
That didn't take long.
No, that doesn't take long.
You literally had the earth stole from beneath you. From beneath you in 62 years. It's not even the lifespan of a grandfather.
I tell people don't feel bad because it wasn't you that fell for it. I go, very nice. I go, this predates your your father and your father's father, and going back to the globe conditioning, going back further than most people's family trees.
Right.
So we were born into the deception.
It's true. Born into the matrix. All right. So with 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
What's the one thing
this is insane? Make sure you listen
right
to this,
now,
guys.
currently, what's happening in the world?
Yeah.
The next show that I'm doing, believe it or not, I mean, as much as I it's not necessarily flat Earth related. I'm a big believer in that people, the public is oh crap, hang on. Wow, that was loud. There was a phone call coming in. I'm a big believer that there's always people in the know, and the public always are the last people to find out things.
Right.
And so our state, for whatever was the first ones, we have now been converting the gas pumps from 3 digits to 4 digits. And you're thinking, that's not even a big deal. It's like, yeah, that costs money. I mean, like not only we're the first state, but there's a station there's 3 miles right from here to the gas station, and they're converting them to 4 digits. And that goes back to somebody's meeting where they're looking at the prices. It's like, yeah, our projections are going to go blah blah blah, and then somebody at the end of the table goes, well, what happens when it hits $9.99? Do we have a contingency for that? And all of a sudden, everyone kind of looks around. It's like, no, and then somebody says, well, we got to swap out the 3-digit counters, which we've had for decades, right? And then and then somebody says, well, maybe we should wait until it's like, well, according to the chart, it's going to be a question of when. And so it's like, well, let's do it now. Let's start doing it now.
Like,
so the next show is literally going to be called the last 4 digits, which I thought was kind of a little play on words there, because we asked about our last.
So where do you do your stuff, Mark? Where do we find you? In the interwebs?
Oh yeah. The easiest way, and don't just look at my stuff. Type in Flat Earth Mark. That's the easiest way to find me. Just Google Flat Earth Mark. You will find my stuff. I'm on just about every I'm everywhere.
No, I
You'll be able
know
to find
that
me.
you're everywhere, but your actual show.
Oh, Strange World.
Yeah.
Strange World. Just go into YouTube, type in Flat Earth Mark, and you'll see Strange World. Strange World's there. I do a show every week, and I'm gonna do this one Tuesday where I'm kind of talking about what's been happening. I've been
Okay.
focusing on Europe, but this week I'm focusing on the fact that the pumps down the street were closed for a day while they were swapping out those instrument panels, and it's like,
And a
why would
gas station being closed for a day is a lot of money
yeah,
lost
that's a
too.
lot of money. And
Yeah.
again, why are you swapping them out now? Why wouldn't you wait? And it's because people, it's like, well, you don't want to be that station that has to close because you'll lose more money if you have to close when it's like
More
nine.
expensive.
Yeah, if it's 9.50 a gallon and all of a sudden it jumps up and your pumps can't handle it, oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're losing out.
Right.
You're losing out big. So all these, again, people in the know behind the scenes are like, yeah, start changing them out now.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Why is something gonna happen? No, no, no.
What are you
Just
not
start.
telling us?
Yeah, just change them.
Well,
I
'cause,
mean,
I mean,
this is a big deal. People don't understand how big a deal this
yeah.
is.
Well, here
When
in
you have
Canada, we're at one no two oh five, I think.
a
So we
leader,
can, yeah. So we can go up to 99 or 999.
oh yeah, you're already converted.
We just roll through. We just have to change the decimal, maybe. I don't know, but holy,
Well,
it
look at
blows my
when you get a
mind.
chance, look at your thing. You know, when you press, what grade, 87, 89, or 92, is that 3 digits or four?
Oh no, listen, our stuff is digital. I take the bus though, so
Oh, okay.
I'm way different. I ride by and I look at this thing on
We
the sign. I'm
um,
like,
America is one of the only countries in the world that still does gallons. In fact, it's amazing. I think we're the only people that only does gallons. And for whatever reason, and it is talk about your foreshadowing, which is and what I mean is companies don't take this lightly. I know we're running out of time, which is companies don't take this lightly. Meaning, if it costs money, it's like, well, even there's a doubt. It's like, well, we're never going to hit $10 even in the next 5 years. No, that's not the discussion that was being had. The
yeah.
discussion was being had. It's like, yeah, we got to do this right now. It's like, what? Why would you say that?
Mark,
Anyway,
thank you so much for the time today, my friend. It's always a pleasure chatting with you and throwing the
thank
ball
you.
around, man. Thank you so much for being so open. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful evening. Enjoy
All
your
right.
weekend.
All right, you too.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yo, guys. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. So, I wanted to chat about a couple of things. A few things popped up in the chat. What up, family? It's good to see you. Yo, 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 yo. Hi. Shout out to Reno. Appreciate you for keeping the chat flowing. You and Zulu throwing the ball around. Appreciate you guys. That was awesome. With respects to, and I'm just gonna put some stuff out there. I kind of made an example of whoever it was I put in the corner. Shout out to Zulu for being here. Appreciate you, my guy. That's why I put you as mod right away. That was just for you to know the type of mod I'm looking for, right? You can attack the theory all you want, right? But making fun of somebody, that's off base. Like bro, like that's, calling somebody an idiot and all that. And I'm going to give you guys a prime example of this coming up. Give me 2 minutes. But exactly. Thanks for the cue, Reno. Appreciate that. But with respects to just the chat, like, I would appreciate it if you guys could actually keep it on topic and not personal. That kind of sets the tone for the level of engagement, because that's what separates us from the orangutans of this world. And I say that like straight up and down. This dude, I'm actually gonna just put it out there for what it is, because yeah, he's kind of piqued my curiosity, let's to say the least. Professor Dave, this guy. Oops. This dude is not cool. I'm gonna be unpacking his latest piece, which is this. Most likely, I'll do this on probably Friday's show. But this is what I'm talking about, man. When you want to kick the ball around and chat about things and figure things out or whatever, that's one thing. But to actually, get personal, and he goes at people like he calls them idiots and all kinds of stuff. I left a couple like direct comments at him, and he within I think the first comment he called me an idiot. So I'm like, yes, and this is what I'm looking for. I am exactly as Reno is, and I'm gonna get to the comments in a minute. But exactly as Reno is saying, I'm a big ass troll, buddy. I'm the biggest troll you've probably ever seen. That's the worst part. I troll myself, bro. Really, or girl. Sorry, I apologize. And the thing about it is too, I wanted to apologize for throwing shade your way. I didn't realize your age. Your age in this puzzle has a lot to do with it, because again, the indoctrination began in 1960. Right? So for you to be born in what, 2003, holy smokes. No, it'd be 2005, sorry. That tells me a lot. I'm gonna guess you're probably born in maybe the earlier part of the year between January and maybe June. That's just a guess on my part, but I don't know if you want to answer that, feel free. Try out my skills a little bit. Yeah, dude, 100%. Hey, Reno, I have kill in my name. Like, what more of a sign do you want? Like, this is what was initiated to me, right? I have absolutely no reason for that. But the joke is, when the troll shows up with the truth and starts asking questions, right? What are you going to do? What are you going to do when, honestly, the flat earth bully shows up and punches the globe bully in the mouth, right? What happens when David shows up and punches Goliath in the mouth, right? This guy that has like 2 million subscribers, and at this point in time, it is what it is. I'll call it a kingdom, because yeah, 2 million subscribers is what it is, right? What did you build your kingdom on? Was it lie? It seems as though because it's lies, because you're selling this globe model theory. Anyways, I'll get into that later. This is what we're looking at. This is the model. Flat Earth. This is the reflection of the moon. Right. That's what it looks like. Right? Australia right here. And then you take this and invert it, and bingo bango, you get this. And it's such a simple design, and man has taken it, twisted it, inverted it, sold you guys that were floating on a blue marble. And now you're honestly just showing up to fight. Because again, I'm gonna propose to you. Have you ever looked at an airplane and watched an airplane go by and thought to yourself, why am I standing still on a ball that's turning at a rate, and that plane is doing work because it has motors attached to the base of the wings? That plane's doing work because it's applying force over distance, right? Work is being exhibited. You're watching it. But yet I'm not moving. How does that not conceptually make any sense to you? And why does it have to be overly explained for you to grasp a concept of a plane flying overhead of you? Are we that lost that somebody has to put a bunch of glasses on top of you to make you understand why I'm standing still and the plane's going by? What's happening right now? Seriously. I'll lose my damn mind. Jeez, man. I honestly, it's insane to me to realize that these scholars have built these podiums, these soapboxes, on what? It's literally borderline maniacal. And I'm the one laughing maniacally. This is why I say I'm the troll. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, guys. None. Y'all bought it. NASA's releasing articles talking about spacewalks have been canceled because water's showing up in spaceman suits. Are you starting to see the problem? Green screens, blue screens, swimming pools are blue. We have evidence of rockets being launched into the sky and them hitting something. We have the definition of in the Encyclopedia Britannica in 59, talking about the firmament. We have scripture on the second day. He installed the firmament to divide the waters from the land. Are you that dense, people? Really? We're on a globe. We're floating through space. It's absolutely hilarious. I love it. Anyways, you guys be amazing, man. I'm gonna go have dinner. Enjoy the evening. Chill out. But yeah, this is what we're looking at. These lines actually, sorry, I literally sidebar myself. These lines, this is the representative of the border, the northern lights. Right, so the black sun, this is the black hole sun that Chris Cornell and Soundgarden were singing about. This is the hole that was edified by Admiral Byrd in his trip in 47, Operation High Jump, right? So as this inner sun rotates, right, it creates these lights that come out. And as they interact with, obviously, Polaris, the North Star, and the firmament, the prism, the light refraction, again, is created. The sun, or sorry, the moon right here, and the sun right here. But again, remember, there's three things always required in viewing things in 3 dimensions, right? You have the reflection of the North Star that creates the sun, the reflection of the North Star that creates the moon. You have the light, let's call it the light arm or whatever I forget what this is called, but this is one of the lines that comes off of the edge of the cone, or the edge of the cut line, right? That's also piece of it. So that creates the intersection point. And then you have to be present on the plane and visualize it. That's the 3rd dimension that's required. Guys, have an amazing evening. I appreciate you so very much. I want to look through the comments and hang out for a minute and see what y'all had to say, because I don't want to be dismissive, of course. But yeah, let's see what y'all said. Let me see. It's funny to troll, but it's not realistic. Wait, stop trolling. Are there any good comments in here? Zulu, did you handle everything, my guy? I used to be a flat earther till I had to get the date of the next eclipse from the Globers. LOL. Listen, I'm going to tell you, look, Reno, I'm going to tell you something really... Really sorry about that, guys. Honestly, I apologize for that. That was totally, that was an asshole move. Me and my clumsy self. Reno, honestly, if you're willing to stick around, we're gonna uncover it and figure it out. That's what I tell you. Like, based on the information that I've been digging and getting through, I think we're in a good place that we can move through it. So, I dropped my phone. Hey! Anyways, it's all gravy. Guys, have an amazing evening. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Be well, folks.